Well, hello. Today is one of my favorite days. It's when I take my big mother agave. This was a gift actually from a friend. You know, it was her grandparents. It has been around for over 100 years probably, but I plant this in a large urn and I love it. It looks amazing and it's a great look. And this is when I move it from my winter storage where I just put it in a plastic container and I move it into the urn. Now I'm gonna admit, long sleeves, gloves, and thick skin because it can impale you, and that's never good. So it doesn't get a root system really in the pot because I transplant it fall, spring, back and forth. So it always has a pretty simple root system. It's just the top that's really cumbersome because of, you know, the spikes that want to kill you. So you just have to be careful. And yes, guys, I have been working all day and guess what? I was labeling stuff in the garden. It's my Sharpie. You get me in real form. We'll see if this should be camera worthy. It may not be. We're gonna see. Look at that. This should not be on camera. Don't try this at home. So here's its home. And you can see. Now, it'd be best to probably do this with another person. But my other person's filming, so that's not gonna work. No, you know, if you know what you're doing and you be careful and you wear long sleeves, wear thick clothing, it's okay, but it could poke your eye out. You really have to be careful with things like this. But once I have it in here, I can now assess what it needs. Because let me tell you something. After the winter, after a whole season last year of growing, it gets some of its, you know, some of it gets kind of browned and yellowed. That could happen over the winter. This could also happen in the wind. You can see it gets kind of, so I'm gonna go get my knife and I'm gonna cut some of these off, then we're gonna underplant it. That's my thing. That's what I do with my agave with some fun annuals. I'm gonna go get my knife. So I'm cutting off the last one of these that I want to cut off. Now, no, I do not make agave syrup. I do not make tequila. You know, those are certain varieties of agave usually that are growing. This is for looks. It is a specimen piece. It is ornamental and it's just beautiful. I mean, look at the instant appeal it has. So I just like to plant some annuals underneath. Now, I don't want to add blooms to this because I don't want to take away from the big agave and the big statement that it is. So I love to add just some fun texture. So I always do some lemon coral sedum. It's a wonderful annual. It just always looks good and it always does really, really well. It can be somewhat drought tolerant, which is wonderful because guess what? Agave are so drought tolerant. And then I also like to add that kind of, see how I'm playing on the colors with a yellowish green and then kind of this bluish silvery green. This is a helichrysum. It's a silver mist licorice plant. And it again just adds that beautiful, they're both gonna flow out of the bottom. They're gonna just really add to it and kind of draw your eye up to the major center. So I'm gonna pot these underneath. So that's why when I'm doing stories, I'm always talking about underplanting my agave. That's what I'm talking about. I'm taking these annuals, I'm taking a little bit off the bottom because anything that's grown in a pot like this can tend to get root bound. So I'm gonna just actually take a little bit of the soil, put it in there, and now I'm just gonna plant the rest of them around it. You're gonna be amazed at how quick too that these grow. So quick. So when you're putting these underneath such a large piece, obviously they're a tighter spot. So like most annuals, it is gonna be best to what? To fertilize these things. They're gonna want fertilizer because they're annuals. So they're not gonna be in the ground, they're gonna be in a container where they don't have all the supplemental beautiful ground nutrients that they get. So every other week at least, I will be just fertilizing them with an all-purpose 10-10-10 type fertilizer. But honestly, I pick ones that are more drought tolerant because that's why I plant so many agave. I live in Iowa and in July and August, guys, it can be almost drought conditions. So then I don't have to worry about watering so many annuals all the time because the more things bloom, the more water they take, the more work they take with deadheading. I like to go for texture, for interest, and for statement. So I hope this is fun. I love to plant this every year and I always get so many questions on it. And I hope you can see that, while yes, it takes room to keep it over the winter. In a cold plant room, I keep it about 45 degrees over the winter with just minimal light. It doesn't take too much work to bring it out and to enjoy it every year in its glory. Soon enough, I'll be showing you on stories and in pictures these beautiful, beautiful annuals planted underneath, and you're gonna see this play on texture and color that I love to do. Get an urn, make a statement, but more so have fun. So as always, share this video around because yeah, it helps me, but it also helps so many people see how fun and inspirational working in the outdoors can be. You can have fun with it, you can enjoy it, whether it's one container or multiple. You can make something that you think is beautiful and you enjoy, and that is the point. Check my website, wiseguide.com, for this and so many other things. And as always, be nice and make something green, because it's always worth it. You know it is. I'm gonna go plant more.